Something old, something new, something natural and something contrived. No, it's not a new wedding saying, but an indication of just how useful seaweed can be. Many love it as a garden fertiliser, while others are aware of its culinary delights. Two Tasmanian artists from very different perspectives have combined in a mutual appreciation of its beauty. Pregnant cows on King Island know what's good for them. Kelp is high in protein, iron and calcium, and also believed to treat a range of health problems. Tasmania's first people knew the secrets of bull kelp.
Women worked with the kelp. It was a women's material. It was used to create the water carriers. It was used to wrap people's feet if they had sore feet. It was used for spear practice and made balls. Also, just recently I did some research in Sydney and was reading through Robinson's journals, and I found this reference to women wrapping themselves in the kelp in the ocean to hide from sharks.
These days it's commercially harvested for many uses, from food to pharmaceuticals. Aboriginal artist Vicky West is maintaining her traditional links with the leathery fronds after learning from an elder.
My actual traditional homeland is northeast Tasmania, so up around Eddiston, all around that Bay of Fires, all that area.
She considers her work with the kelp as a metaphor for survival for both her culture and the kelp.
My ancestors utilised the kelp to make the water carriers, which were essential to survival. Not only are Aboriginal people surviving, but we actually need to start protecting things so that there are those things for future generations.
Tasmania's coastline and islands are a rich source of kelp. Bull kelp likes cooler waters and thrives at Macquarie Island. It used to be found further up the southeast Australian coast, but its range has retreated. Many believe it's because of warming seas and other environmental impacts.
That's what really brought us together, was our concern about the environment and about changes happening and the depletion of kelp. So that large piece, I threaded a heap through the wire, but then I decided not to use it.
Fellow artist Karen Beaumont is also a marine biologist. Her PhD on microscopic plankton ended up being as much an artistic fascination as scientific. Staring down the microscope, trying to understand the tiny organism's role in the food chain led to an aesthetic appreciation. It resulted in recreating plankton in silver, using art to communicate science.
I wanted to try and communicate the importance of these creatures more, and I felt that it needed to get out there to the general public more than, people just reading scientific papers, which is generally a fairly restricted field. I found that a bit hard to do, so I came back to the old stitching.
While still utilising silver, she's turned her attention to a much larger marine organism. Bull kelp can grow around 10 centimetres a day.
But I also was conscious that it had been used by Aboriginal people, and so I really wanted to do it with respect and not to inadvertently use, step on any toes or use it in a disrespectful way. So I sought out Vicky. Because she's used kelp, and particularly using it in a really contemporary way.
As well as making traditional water carriers, Vicky West uses the stalk. She moulds, chops and twists the kelp into shape.
It's very strong but very fragile too. So once it's dried, it becomes a bit like porcelain. So if you drop it, it'll actually break.
Once exposed to the air, there's limited time to work with the kelp. Dampening it down again doesn't help.
That actually changes the texture of the kelp if you dampen it down again, So it's really, you work while you can. So I've done a few all-nighters when I've had to, yes.
The pair have worked collaboratively on a number of large installation pieces as well as smaller individual works.
So we've brought in scientific materials and methods in some ways as well, and combined it with the traditional knowledge, and I think that's what it's all been about, a big exchange really.
Electron microscopy was used to reveal the kelp's structure.
What we found was it's composed of columns, tubes, throughout the structure, which of course makes sense from a design point of view of how strong the material is if you compact all these tubes, columns, the Romans did it, built columns.
The inside then revealed on the outside with the images laser etched on a number of pieces. A real melding of art, science and culture.